Have you ever wondered if the food you buy from Walmart and keep in your fridge is really safe? Lately, a number of products sold at this giant retail chain have been exposed for some serious risks. Some contain ingredients that can trigger deadly allergic reactions. Some were found contaminated with harmful substances, and a few even had foreign objects inside that could cause internal injuries. The scary part is these are not strange or exotic items. They are everyday foods that millions of American families trust and consume on a daily basis. In today's video, we're going to show you 5 types of Walmart foods that experts recommend you should toss out immediately if they are in your fridge. This is not fear-mongering. It is a straightforward warning meant to protect your health and your family's safety. Number 1. Great value, frozen, raw white, Vaname shrimp. Have you ever thought that a bag of frozen shrimp from a familiar store like Walmart could turn into a threat to your whole family? For many Americans, especially working families, frozen shrimp has long been considered a smart choice. It is convenient, easy to cook, and usually cheaper than fresh shrimp. But that so-called smart choice is now under serious doubt. Inside packages of Great Value frozen raw white Vaname shrimp authorities have discovered traces of radioactive Cesium-137.
The FDA warning people not to buy or eat certain Great Value raw frozen shrimp sold at Walmart because it may be contaminated with Cesium-137.
If you bought frozen shrimp from Walmart recently, we have an important and, yes, a strange warning. The shrimp may be radioactive. The FDA says certain Great Value raw frozen shrimp is contaminated with Cesium-137.
Let that sink in. Cesium-137 is not something you ever expect to find in food. It is tied to nuclear leaks and emergency environmental alerts. And now it is showing up in the freezers of thousands of American households. Picture this on a normal evening: you cook a seafood soup with frozen shrimp. The family gathers around the table enjoying dinner, never realizing that danger is quietly slipping into their bodies. It cannot be seen, smelled, or tasted, but the damage can last a lifetime.
Now, the radioactive substance that we're talking about is called Cesium-137, which is mostly found in places that have had nuclear testing or nuclear accidents.
Cesium-137 builds up in soft tissue and continuously emits radiation. It can harm cells, damage DNA, and increase cancer risk. For young people, that is already a serious threat. For older adults, especially those with existing health conditions, the danger is far greater. What looks like a budget meal can turn into a gamble with your health that no one would ever want to take. And then there is the price. Many still believe Walmart means cheap and affordable, but the reality has been harsh. Within just 2 years, the price of Great Value frozen shrimp has climbed sharply, at times nearly 1.5 times higher than before. That means consumers are not only buying a dangerous product, they are paying more for it. For working families already stretched thin by inflation, rising rent, and higher utility bills, this feels like a double insult. Their wallets are being drained while their health is put on the line. Imagine a family in the Midwest. The father works night shifts. The mother picks up a few bags of frozen shrimp to keep in the freezer. They are not well off, so choosing Great Value seems natural. One bag can stretch across several meals, making it both practical and affordable. But now that idea of saving money is nothing but an illusion. Because if radiation exposure leads to medical bills, the cost becomes hundreds of times worse. This leaves many consumers feeling not just anxious, but betrayed. Walmart was supposed to be a symbol of safety and everyday convenience. But when radioactive shrimp is openly sold on its shelves, that trust collapses. People start asking themselves, if even a giant like Walmart lets something this dangerous slip through, how many other products are quietly hiding risks that no one has caught yet? This story is not just about one recalled shipment. It points to a deeper breakdown in the food supply system. Importers chase the lowest costs, buying from questionable sources without caring about quality. Regulators only step in after the damage is done. Meanwhile, ordinary people, taxpayers, and loyal customers are left behind to fend for themselves. The unease is especially heavy for older viewers. They have watched America change decade after decade. They once trusted homegrown brands and government safeguards. But now, when they open the freezer and see a bag of Great Value shrimp, they do not feel reassured. They worry about their children and grandchildren. They fear being abandoned in a society where profit seems to outweigh public health. And that brings us to the most important question. If right now you found a bag of great value shrimp sitting in your freezer, what would you do? Keep it and hope for the best, or throw it out to protect your family? The only clear and wise choice is to get rid of it immediately. Because no price cheap or expensive is ever worth gambling with the health and safety of the people you love. Number 2, RITZ. Peanut butter cracker sandwiches. Picture this. You open a bag of crackers from Walmart. The label clearly says, cheese, the familiar cheese sandwich crackers you have eaten countless times. You take a bite, chew a little, and then realize the taste is completely off. It is not cheese, it is peanut butter. For most people, that mix-up might seem minor, but for anyone with a peanut allergy, that moment could be life or death. The shocking news is that some batches of RITZ peanut butter cracker sandwiches were mislabeled.
Well, labels are to blame for a voluntary recall from RITZ Crackers. The company says there was a mix-up with the packaging. It says the sandwiches are cheese-flavored, but the individually wrapped packs inside are actually peanut butter.
The package said cheese, but inside was peanut butter filling. It sounds like a simple packaging error, but the consequences are anything but simple. Peanut allergies are one of the leading causes of anaphylaxis in America. Just a trace can swell the throat, cut off breathing, and without fast emergency care, a person's life is at risk. Many parents buy these crackers for their kids to take to school, believing they are a safe snack. But if their child is allergic to peanuts, one mislabeled pack can turn snack time into a nightmare. The anger here comes not only from the health risk, but also from the betrayal. Consumers pay for a product that matches what the label says. What they got instead was negligence and disregard for human life. With the shrimp, people felt fear because radiation is invisible. But here, anger rises because the mistake is so obvious. Labeling a product is not complicated. It is a basic step in manufacturing a minimum promise that customers know what they are eating. Yet even that bare minimum was not met. Millions of packs ended up on shelves slipped into lunchboxes, purses, and family refrigerators. The harshest truth is Walmart does not just sell cheap products, it sells trust. People shop there believing everything is under control. But when someone bites into peanut butter under a label that says cheese, that trust is shattered. And once trust is gone, no price or apology can restore it. The financial toll is massive too. Severe allergic reactions cost the US billions of dollars every year. With inflation rising and health insurance more expensive than ever, a mistake like this can push working families to the breaking point. They already juggle grocery bills, rent, gas, and utilities. Now they also have to fear that a snack bought for their child might send them to the hospital. What makes this worse is that it is not the first time big consumer brands have had labeling errors. Recall notices keep surfacing, and who pays the price every time? Ordinary people. The working mom rushing from a shift to put food on the table. The grandparents picking up snacks for the kids. Loyal shoppers who trusted that big supermarkets would never let such carelessness slide. And they are the very ones left to deal with the fallout. Some viewers will hear this story and ask themselves, how many other mislabeled products are out there that no one has caught yet? If a household name like RITZ can fail at something this basic, how much faith can anyone still have in the food system? The saddest part is that America's working families, the very people who believed Walmart and familiar brands would help them save money and stay safe, are the ones most exposed. They do not have the time to inspect every detail. They rely on labels. And when labels lie, the entire system is gambling with people's lives. So the question is no longer whether you like cheese crackers. The real question is, can you trust what is printed on the package? If a simple cracker cannot be labeled correctly, how can consumers have faith in more complex products? If right now you opened your fridge and saw a RITZ cracker pack that says cheese, think twice. Is it really cheese? Or are you holding something that could send someone to the ER after just one bite? The smartest choice may be to never give it the chance to test your family's health. Number 3, Yellowstone brown sugar molasses, baked beans. If you are someone who often buys canned foods, here is one important piece of advice: never rely only on the front of the can, because what you see on that shiny label can be completely different from the reality inside. A perfect example is Yellowstone brown sugar molasses baked beans. A product many American families once chose for a quick and easy dinner. At first glance, it seems ideal. Baked beans with brown sugar and molasses promising a rich and hearty sweetness. But in reality, each can is loaded with sugar and sodium at levels that are truly alarming. Studies show that just a small serving from one can of Yellowstone baked beans can deliver nearly half of your recommended daily sugar intake. Yet the packaging paints the picture of a meal that is tasty, wholesome, and family-friendly. Consumers feel let down because they are not being told the full truth. At a time when so many Americans, especially those over 50, are battling diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart issues, this product quietly makes things worse. The painful truth is not everyone has the time or knowledge to flip the can around and study the tiny nutrition label on the back. Most people just look at the front and trust the marketing. Think about a retiree living on Social Security. They pick up a few cans of Yellowstone beans because they are cheap and convenient. They believe they are saving money while still eating something healthy. But what they are actually doing is pumping their body with sugar and salt far beyond safe limits. That is not saving. That is inching closer to a hospital visit. The disappointment deepens because this product is sold everywhere in major supermarkets with no clear warning. Shoppers feel cheated. They are paying for what they believe is a nourishing food, but instead they are getting a recipe for chronic illness. And once the truth comes out, that sense of betrayal only grows stronger. The sad part is this is not an isolated case. The canned food market in America has drifted for years away from nutrition and toward addictive flavors that are overly sweet and salty. Yellowstone baked beans is just one piece of a much bigger problem, where packaging and advertising continuously mislead consumers. Another bitter reality is the price. Canned goods used to be the go-to affordable option for working families. But now even Yellowstone baked beans has climbed in price along with inflation, which means consumers are stuck paying more for a product that offers less nutritional value. For families already cutting corners on every expense, this feels like a double hit, losing money while harming their health. For older viewers who have seen America move from fresh, wholesome food to processed convenience, this disappointment is especially heavy. They feel deceived, as if the promise of a safe family meal has slipped further and further away. They remember when a can of beans actually meant beans, not a sugary, salty mix disguised as something delicious. So the question for you is this. Next time you're standing in front of the shelf, what will you do? Will you let the bright label pull you in and trust the marketing? Or will you turn the can around? Read carefully and think twice before dropping it in your cart. Because the truth is, a can of Yellowstone baked beans that seems harmless could slowly be making your health worse every single day. It will not kill you instantly, but it weakens your body, keeps you tied to medication, and adds to your medical bills. And for those living off a modest retirement check or working extra shifts just to cover expenses, that is the cruelest betrayal of all. The takeaway is clear. If you still have Yellowstone brown sugar molasses baked beans in your pantry, ask yourself, is it worth it to keep eating something that costs more and damages your health? Or is it time to clear it out and make room for safer, better choices for your family? Number 4. Alfresco Chicken Sausage Sweet Apple with Vermont Maple Syrup. Have you ever come across a food product that just sounds healthy the moment you read its name? A pack of Alfresco chicken sausage with sweet apple and Vermont maple syrup makes you picture a light, wholesome breakfast. But sometimes the products with the most perfect names are the ones that leave consumers the most shocked when the truth comes out. Chicken sausage is often marketed as a healthier alternative to pork or beef. By adding the words sweet apple and maple syrup, the brand paints a picture of something natural and homey. But when nutrition experts took a closer look at the ingredients they found, the added sugar levels were shockingly high. A single serving of these sausages has as much sugar as a small can of soda. And that sugar does not come from fresh apples or pure maple syrup as the label suggests. It comes mostly from refined sugar added during processing. This has left many people wondering if healthy even means anything anymore. For someone trying to lose weight, manage blood sugar, or stick to a low-sugar diet, just a couple bites of Alfresco sausage could undo an entire week's effort. And ironically, plenty of American families have been buying this exact product precisely because they thought it was a better choice for their health. Even more shocking is the sodium content. Reports have shown that Alfresco sausages contain far more sodium than what an older adult should consume in a single meal. For people over 50 who already need to watch their blood pressure, it is a double hit: too much sugar and too much salt. They buy it hoping to protect their health, but end up bringing home something that could make their condition worse. Another point of frustration for consumers is the price. Alfresco sausages are usually more expensive than regular sausages. Buyers assume the higher price reflects higher quality and cleaner ingredients. But in reality, that price tag is just clever packaging. What they actually get is more sugar, more salt, and more health risks. Now imagine a working-class family. They read the label, see the words chicken apple maple syrup, and naturally assume it is a safe choice. A mother believes she is doing the right thing for her husband and kids. But months later, her husband's checkup shows rising blood sugar and high blood pressure. That is when they realize the so-called healthy meal was the hidden culprit all along. This kind of disappointment goes beyond Alfresco. It raises bigger questions about the entire food industry. How many other healthy products are nothing more than marketing tricks? How many Americans are paying extra for foods dressed up in natural imagery while the truth is the complete opposite? For older audiences, this is especially frustrating. They remember a time when food was simple, when apples were apples and maple syrup was maple syrup. Now they have to face the reality that many clean label or natural claims are just word games. And while they are trying to take care of their health and live longer for their families, these overpriced products are pushing them further away from that goal. And it does not stop at personal health. When consumers lose trust, the impact spills into society: rising healthcare costs, pressure on insurance systems, and working families carrying even heavier burdens. Food, which should be a source of nourishment, ends up being a driver of instability. So here is the real question. The next time you see a pack of Alfresco chicken sausage with its glossy packaging, will you believe the healthy promise printed on the label? Or will you remind yourself that some things may look and sound good, but in reality, they are just traps that make you spend more money while costing you more of your health? Number 5. YoCrunch Yogurt with topping domes. At first glance, this product sounds like a fun idea. Yogurt paired with playful toppings, something kids would enjoy and adults would find convenient. But the truth reveals a bitter irony. Each cup of YoCrunch packs as much sugar as, or even more than, a standard chocolate bar. That topping dome makes consumers feel like they are having a healthy snack, when in reality they are loading up on sugar far beyond recommended limits. And sugar is not the only problem. With those prepackaged toppings comes a cocktail of preservatives, artificial colors, and synthetic flavors. All of this turns yogurt into a pretend healthy food. It may sound like something nutritious, but in terms of real value, it is almost empty. Consumers, especially working families, buy YoCrunch believing it is a middle ground, keep the benefits of yogurt while adding a little fun for the kids. But the truth is, they are paying more for a product with less nutrition. At a time when basic yogurt has already gone up in price, due to inflation, spending a few extra dollars just to get a topping loaded with sugar and additives leaves many people feeling cheated. What stings older audiences the most is the betrayal of trust. Yogurt was once considered a good-for-the-gut staple, one of the few processed foods still seen as reliable. But with YoCrunch, that image collapses. A product that should have supported health has been turned into a sugar-coated trap. And so, the natural question arises. Is it really worth keeping YoCrunch in your fridge? Are you willing to keep paying for something dressed up as healthy, but in reality nothing more than candy in disguise? Or will you choose to stay sharp, leave it out of your cart, and protect both your family's health and your wallet? Looking back at these 5 products, many of us have to stop and ask, how many times have we unknowingly brought home foods that seemed safe, but were hiding risks all along? From frozen shrimp with radiation, mislabeled cookies, canned beans overflowing with sugar and salt, fake healthy sausages to yogurt that has turned into candy, they all expose a bitter truth. Consumer trust is being exploited. The question now is no longer does it taste good, but is it worth keeping in your fridge? And sometimes, the smartest choice is to say goodbye to these products altogether, for the sake of your health, your finances, and the peace of mind in your home.
This video does not promote division within the United States or encourage segregation. All content is presented for the purpose of exploration, analysis, and fostering discussion based on current events, public sentiment, and social trends. We fully respect the United States Constitution and all federal regulations. If today's analysis made you think, drop a comment so we can keep the conversations going. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you will never miss our next independent deep dive.